I left my husband, and I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm not imagining how unhappy I was before, but he insists we can fix it. I want us to live together as a happy family, but I don't trust him to follow through. I wanted to post here to get an outsider's perspective. Going to call my husband Dave. I was doing the triple burden, working, doing housework, handling childcare, and anything else child-related. I'm responsible for buying kids' clothes, arranging playdates, doctor's appointments, school events. Dave doesn't do any of these. He says I'm better at it. He also finds ways to belittle me in front of other people. He says he doesn't mean to, and it's just a cultural difference. But my friends and family all find it uncomfortable. I dread going out with him with others, as he'll find a way to embarrass me. Before Christmas, Dave lost a big contract, so he has been out of work and not really doing anything. I think he's actually been depressed, as it's very important to him to provide for his family. But he won't go to a doctor or talk to anyone. I've been trying to push him to get a job in a shop, to earn literally any money. But he refuses as I'm nagging him about it. Meanwhile, I changed jobs and went full-time for the first time in 5 years, partly for more money, partly for career advancement. The only issue with my new job is they don't believe in set schedules, so my working days and hours are all over the place. Sometimes I'm home as late as 10 p.m. I know the hours suck, but it's a 1-year contract for an incredibly good company, and I want to use it as a stepping stone for a better job. I thought with him out of work and me working all the time, he might step up, but I'd come home, and the plates would still be in the sink. I started getting really angry and resentful that I was having to work so hard on all angles to keep our family afloat. If I asked him to do any housework, he'd forget and say it's not a big deal. It only takes 5 minutes. And I'd say, yeah, that's 5 minutes in your 8 hours of nothing, or 5 minutes after my 10-hour workday. I tried to leave at Christmas, but after some very long talks, Dave agreed to step up around the house. He started doing a bit of laundry and a bit of washing up. He also ran out of money, so I had to take out a large loan to cover bills. I've been paying for everything for the last 3 to 4 months. I approached a charity and told them everything, and they agreed to help me. They paid the deposit and first month's rent for a flat, and I left last week. Since then, Dave has been devastated. He says he doesn't want to be without me. He misses me. He wants a future with me. He wants to fix this. I feel lighter than I have in a while. I'm actually excited about the new place and a fresh start. But I also feel really guilty that he's so upset. I feel like I'm betraying him. I'm torn. Do I ask him to move with me and trust that a fresh start will be better? Can we get past all this damage? Or do I stay by myself and leave him suffering? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. He is playing up his suffering to guilt you into coming back. You made the right choice to leave. He used weaponized incompetence to dump everything at your feet. Has anything really changed? Has he gotten a job? Is he contributing to the care of his kids? Does he care about your feelings, or is everything still about how it affects him? Is your family glad you were getting away from him? How long had you been together? This sounds like a situation where a much older guy convinced a lady to put up with abuse because she didn't know what to expect in a healthy relationship. Comment 2. Someone else being upset doesn't mean you did something wrong, just that it wasn't what they wanted you to do. If he could have changed at any time and chose not to, then he chose your misery. He didn't care about your feelings until they motivated you to leave. I suspect he still does not care how his choices affected you, and is currently only concerned with how the consequences are affecting him. This man is not your child. You don't owe him a soft landing. Now, for the update, thanks for sticking around to hear more about what's been going on. So, I moved into the new flat, and it was like a breath of fresh air. No dirty dishes waiting for me, no laundry piling up unless I left it there. It was quiet, peaceful, and mine. But then, things started to get complicated. My job, the one with the crazy hours, it got even more demanding. They started asking me to travel last minute, and with the kids, it was a nightmare to arrange care. I found out Dave had been calling my mom, crying about how much he missed us. Mom, bless her, she's always been the type to fix things, so she started dropping hints that maybe I was too hasty. She didn't get it, though, how tired I was of carrying the weight for both of us. Then, out of nowhere, Dave did something unexpected. He got a job. Not just any job, but one at a local community center, helping other out-of-work folks find jobs. It was part-time, but it was something. He started sending me pictures of him at work, with people he was helping, trying to show me he was changing. But I was skeptical. I mean, after all this time, now he decides to step up? It felt like too little, too late. And yet, there was this tiny voice in the back of my head wondering if maybe, just maybe, this was real. The kids, they were adjusting, but they missed their dad. They'd ask about him, and I could tell they didn't understand why we couldn't all be together. It broke my heart, but I had to stay strong for them. Work sent me on a trip for a week, and I had no choice but to ask Dave to watch the kids. I came back expecting the worst, but the house was clean, the kids were happy, and there was a meal waiting for me. It was like walking into an alternate reality. Dave started talking about counseling, about really working on our issues. He said he realized how much he'd taken me for granted and that he wanted to make it right. I didn't know what to think. Part of me wanted to believe him, but the other part was scared of getting hurt again. Things took a turn when I got home late one night to find a letter from the bank. The loan I took out for the bills? Dave had missed payments while I was gone. The bank was threatening to take action if we didn't catch up. I was furious. How could he let this happen? I confronted Dave, and he broke down. He admitted he was overwhelmed, that he was trying to juggle too much, and he dropped the ball. He begged for my forgiveness, promising to sort it out. I didn't know if I could trust him, but when I looked in his eyes, I saw something I hadn't seen in a long time. Genuine remorse. We started going to counseling, and it was rough. We dug up a lot of old hurts, a lot of resentment, but we also started to communicate, really talk about what we needed from each other. It was like we were learning to be a couple all over again. The bank situation got sorted, but it was a wake-up call for both of us. We had to be a team or we were going to sink. Dave started managing his money better, and I started to let go of some of the control I'd been holding onto so tightly. And then, just when things were starting to look up, my job announced they were downsizing. I was one of the ones let go. It was a blow. After all the hard work I'd put in, all the late nights. But this time, I wasn't alone. Dave was there, supporting me, telling me we'd figure it out together. It's been 3 months since I left Dave, and what interesting to say the least it's been. But here we are, working on our marriage, on our family. It's not perfect, but it's real, it's messy, and it's ours. And for the first time in a long time, I'm hopeful about the future. Thanks for reading. My boyfriend expected intimacy on Women's Day. But when I said no, he turned to his ex and lied about debts. So I left him with nothing but his lies and a baby on the way. So today was International Women's Day, and everything was perfect. The day went by great because I was able to clean a good chunk of me and my boyfriend's apartment, which I struggle with a lot. But I had made myself proud. So when my boyfriend came home with flowers, I was over the moon since the day was just perfect. We chatted about his day while eating dinner, and the atmosphere was great. However, since I pushed my limits, I went to bed shortly after we stopped chatting a couple of hours later. Then, my boyfriend joined me in bed and asked if we could do it. I refused, but offered that we could tomorrow, as I was not in the mood, and being unclean and unshaven, basically unprepared, made it worse for me. He tried at least 15 times to get me to agree, to which I warned him not to push it any further. I have trauma regarding consent that he is aware of. He immediately became cold with his voice and turned away from me, despite cuddling me until then. I asked him if he was mad, and he said he was disappointed. I felt horrible after that and went to sleep on the couch so he wouldn't hear me cry. I'm not sure if I have the right to cry about this. We don't do it as often as we'd want to due to his work. So I partially understand his upsetness. But I thought it would be play if I offered the next day. However, it wasn't enough. I don't understand it, and I wonder if I shouldn't have refused him, even if it wasn't going to be pleasant for me. What do I do? Should I have given in? Thank you for your replies and advice. Update. Thank you for all your replies. I will talk to him about it today and try to see what went wrong. I'll hear him out, and hopefully, he'll hear me out. However, if he doesn't react maturely to the issue, I think that will be it. I realize now that in my impulsive post, some information is missing. We have been together for a year but have known each other for 2. We have never had a problem with intimacy until he started his new job a few months ago. And even then, it was more of a problem of finding time than mood. I have been mentally unstable for many years, dealing with depression, anxiety, trauma, and undiagnosed ADHD until recently. So I have lots of insecurities, due to which we decided to always be honest with each other and talk things through. That we always did. So even if we did have issues, we were able to fix it. In this way, I never let my issues affect our relationship, at least I hope. I'm so sorry I'm getting lost in this. The problem is that we always planned a few hours ahead, at least when we'd be intimate. So when he suddenly wanted to do it when I was mentally prepared to just sleep, I just couldn't do it. That's also why I offered the next day, hoping that would be good or even better, since we usually take showers together and have dinner together before intimacy. But he didn't want that. I also messaged him a few hours ago, letting him know that I'd like to talk about yesterday, because he acted like nothing happened this morning. And he immediately jumped to saying that I'm trying to blame him, and that if we are going to have the conversation, then I'm not going to like it. Wish us luck. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. What you're not going to do is blame yourself for this. You said no, and he should have respected that instead of trying to coerce you into doing it, especially since he knows about your feelings regarding consent. He basically did all of that thinking he was going to get some, and reverted to being a petulant child when he realized he wasn't going to. Comment 2. I really hope that this is made up. If it's not, your boyfriend is a selfish and horrible person. No means no. Maybe he could try his luck and ask you one more time after you already said no, but 15 times? And then shuns you because you stuck to your guns. What a jerk. You should leave him. He's hurtful, and you deserve better, OP. Now for the update. Thank you for sticking with me here. So I had that talk with my boyfriend, and let me tell you, it was pretty tough. He started off all defensive, saying how he felt neglected and how his needs weren't being met. I tried to explain my side about how I was feeling and my need to feel prepared, but it was like talking to a brick wall. He just couldn't see past his own frustration. Then, out of nowhere, he drops this news. He's been talking to his ex. Says it's nothing serious, just catching up. But come on, who does that? I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. All this time, I thought we were solid, and he's out there chatting with his past? It made me question everything. But wait, it gets worse. A few days later, I found out he'd been lying about working late. Turns out he'd been meeting up with some of his old college buddies, gambling. We're talking about serious money here, not just a few bucks. He'd racked up a debt, and guess who they came to for the cash? Me. I was livid. I mean, we had plans, dreams, and now this? I confronted him, and it was a mess. He promised he'd stop, that he'd get help. But can I trust him? I don't know. I wanted to believe him, I really did. But it's like every time we take a step forward, he drags us 2 steps back. And just when I thought things couldn't get any more complicated, his ex shows up at our door, crying about how she's been evicted and has nowhere to go. And what does he do? Invites her to stay with us just for a few days. I couldn't believe it. There she was, sitting on our couch, the same one we picked out together, acting like she owned the place. I tried to be understanding, but it was hard. Every time I saw them together, laughing, sharing inside jokes, it was like a knife twisting in my heart. I felt like an outsider in my own home. Then, one evening, I overheard them arguing. She was pregnant. And guess who she claimed the father was? My boyfriend. I was frozen, didn't know what to do, what to think. He denied it, of course. Said she was just trying to trap him, but the damage was done. I felt like my whole world had been turned upside down. Here I was, trying to make things work, and he was just... I don't even have the words. I wanted to kick her out, tell him to go with her, but I didn't. I guess a part of me still hoped we could fix this mess. But then, the final straw. I got a call from the bank. He'd taken out a loan, a big one, and he'd used my name, my credit, my future. He'd put it all on the line without even asking me. That's when I knew I couldn't do this anymore. I packed my bags, left him a note, and walked out. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but I had to do it for me. I'm staying with a friend now, trying to figure out my next move. It's not going to be easy, but I'm done being the one who always has to compromise. I guess I was just too close to see it, but looking back, the signs were all there. I was being manipulated, used, and I didn't even realize it. It's funny, in a sad way, how love can blind you to the truth. Thank you for reading. My fiance cheated and got someone else pregnant, but I exposed his crimes to the cops and watched him get arrested. My fiance and I recently had a disagreement, which turned into a huge fight. We've been looking to move out of our tiny apartment and found this beautiful house. The first night we were in our new home, he stated that he didn't want some specific members of my family coming over. I was caught off guard and immediately got defensive, trying to explain what their intentions were in the situations that made my fiance not like them. He got angry and stated that I never stand up for him, and he should be comfortable in his own house. I understand the comfort part, but I've always stood up for him. I've always talked to my mom or whoever else was in the wrong. I don't know how many hours I've spent talking about him to show my family how much he's changed. He used to be in a bad crowd and has a criminal history. That very much concerned my very religious family. Growing up, we always sat down and talked stuff out. It was only in a few cases where yelling was involved. So my way of defending my fiance is by talking. There have been times that he won't say anything to explain how he felt hurt or disrespected until we had already left. In those cases, I would text whoever it was, explain the situation, explain how my fiance left, and what we can do to fix it. My fiance doesn't classify this as defending him. When he first told me I need to be better at it, I always kept an ear out to hear the conversations he was having with my family to see if I needed to step in. It's happened twice so far, and he's never said thank you or even acknowledged that I did. Fast forward to 3 days ago, he brings up the time he had a screaming match with his mom. He was defending me, and I'm grateful that he did. But it was different. His mother flat out threatened me. Not like a "I'll kick your butt" joke, but actually threatened my life, and they fought. My family, to be frank, is not crazy like his is. I'm not sure how to explain that different families have different ways of communicating. I have stood up for him, but he won't accept that it's in a different way. I grew up in the suburbs while he grew up on the streets, literally. I grew up being taught to watch for hurtful signs and taught that my family will always be there for me. And they have been, every step of my life. Growing up, I was told that until someone marries me, I need to stick with my family. When I do get married, that's when my spouse comes first. After we yelled back and forth about me only defending my family and never him, he stated, "I'm only nice to your family because of you. If it was up to me, these gloves would have come off a long time ago. We won't get married until you can defend me like it's your second instinct, and love is unconditional, but marriage does have conditions." I don't know what to do. I feel lost and torn with myself. Please don't think he's a bad person. He's absolutely amazing. This is just something that's sensitive, and we are trying to work it out. I came to Reddit to see if I do need to defend him the way he wants me to, or if he should change something on his side of it. Edit. Thank you to all of those who left comments. I'm trying to get back and answer all of them. All of you have helped me see many different sides to it, and I cannot be more thankful. I currently don't have an update, but my plan is to see if he will go to therapy either with or without me. If he refuses 3 different times, I will leave him. I obviously won't tell him that us breaking up will be the consequence, because the last thing I need is for him to do it, just so I stay. I will give you guys an update in 3 days and another one in 1 week. Again, thank you so much. Edit 2. I have answered a lot of questions in the comments. I'm trying to keep up, but it's difficult. Thank you for your patience. Update, we broke up. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. At first, I was on your fiance's side because of my own personal baggage with my in-laws, and my husband and I needing to go to couples counseling for him to understand that I need him to stick up for me when certain family members of his are hostile. But after reading your whole post, I don't think that's what's going on. I think your fiance isn't ready for marriage. He seems very sensitive to the point of being manipulative. Example, your family can't ask him clarifying questions. So what does that mean? Everyone just has to agree with him unquestioningly. Also, his refusal to go to counseling/therapy and his waiting until you two have bought a house to announce his rule about who in your family can come over is immature and concerning. Comment 2. Your boyfriend has a history of criminal activity that would give any family pause for concern. And that's something he will always face and always need to deal with. But he needs to accept that. Is he making an effort to show them he can change? If you have spoken to your family about their concerns and they continue to treat him poorly despite his efforts, then he has a right not to want them in his home. On the other hand, his comments about how he's only nice to them because of you and taking the gloves off are concerning. He seems to be using marriage as leverage, saying if you don't comply with his desire to minimize or cut contact with your family, he won't marry you is a huge red flag. Now, for the update, thank you for sticking around for this update. So, we broke up. It's been, well, I'll just get into it month, and things have taken turns I never saw coming. After our last fight, things got worse. My fiancé started acting strange, more distant than usual. I tried to talk to him, but he just shut down. Then, out of nowhere, he tells me he's been seeing someone else. Yeah, you heard that, right? He was cheating on me. I was devastated. I mean, I spent years building a life with this guy, defending him to my family, and this is how he repays me? It felt like a slap in the face. But that wasn't the end of it. The other woman, she's pregnant, and he's the father. He wants to be with her, to raise their child together. I couldn't believe it. My whole world just crumbled. I moved out of the house we had just moved into. It was too painful to stay there, too many memories. I went back to my parents' place, the very family he didn't want around. They welcomed me with open arms, no, I told you so. Just love and support. It was a comfort, but I was still seething inside. I needed to do something to get back at him for all the lies and betrayal. So, I took action. I knew he had a criminal history, and I knew he hadn't been entirely clean since we got together. I tipped off the police about some of his less than legal activities. It wasn't long before they caught him in the act. He was arrested, and with his record, he's looking at serious time. The other woman, she came to me crying, saying she didn't know about me, that he told her we were over. I didn't know what to feel about her, but I did feel sorry for the kid that's going to grow up in this mess. I told her everything about his past, his arrest, everything. She was shocked, said she had no idea. I don't know if she'll stick by him, but that's her choice. Now I'm just trying to pick up the pieces of my life. I'm focusing on myself, my job, my family. It's hard, but I'm getting there. I've learned a lot about who I can trust and what I'm worth. I won't be walked over again. Thank you for reading. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.